Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our English podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Mike. Today we have a very special episode for you. We're going to talk about something that many of you might find both exciting and nerve-wracking. Job interviews.
That's right, Mike. Job interviews can be a big challenge, especially if English isn't your first language. But don't worry. We're here to help you with tips, useful phrases, and strategies to ace your next interview.
Exactly. We'll go through different stages of a job interview, provide you with practical advice, and share some common questions and answers. So, let's get started.
The first thing to consider is preparation. Preparing for a job interview is crucial. It can make a huge difference in how you perform. Mike, what's the first step in preparing for an interview?
The first step is research. You need to learn as much as you can about the company you're interviewing with. This includes understanding their products or services, their company culture, and their recent achievements or news.
Absolutely. You can find this information on the company's website, their social media pages, and by reading recent news articles. Knowing this information shows the interviewer that you're genuinely interested in the company and that you've done your homework.
Another important aspect of preparation is understanding the job description. Make sure you know what the role involves and what skills and experiences the employer is looking for.
Yes, and try to match your own skills and experiences to the job description. Think of specific examples from your past work or studies that demonstrate you have the skills they're looking for.
Now let's move on to the actual interview. The first part of most interviews is the introduction. This is your chance to make a great first impression. Emma, what are some key things to remember during the introduction?
Well, first impressions are very important. Start with a firm handshake, make eye contact, and smile. You should also be prepared to answer some common introductory questions, such as, "Tell me about yourself," or "Can you walk me through your resume?"
That's right. And when answering "Tell me about yourself," it's important to keep your answer brief and focused on your professional background. Highlight your key achievements and experiences that are relevant to the job.
For example, you could say, "I have a degree in marketing and 5 years of experience working in digital marketing. In my last job, I managed a team of 5 people and increased our social media engagement by 30%.
That's a great example, Emma. Now let's talk about some common interview questions and how to answer them. One common question is, what are your strengths?
Yes, and when answering this question, it's important to be honest, but also to highlight strengths that are relevant to the job. For instance, you might say, "One of my strengths is my attention to detail. In my previous role, this helped me catch errors before they became big problems."
Another common question is, what are your weaknesses? This one can be tricky because you don't want to highlight a weakness that will make you seem unfit for the job.
Exactly. The key is to choose a weakness that is honest, but not critical for the job. And it's a good idea to talk about how you're working to improve this weakness. For example, you could say, "One of my weaknesses is that I sometimes take on too many tasks at once. I've been working on this by learning to prioritize and delegate tasks more effectively."
That's a great strategy, Emma. Another common question is, why do you want to work here? This is where your research comes in handy.
Yes, you should talk about what you've learned about the company and why it appeals to you. For example, you might say, "I admire your company's commitment to sustainability and innovation. I'm excited about the opportunity to contribute to your team and help drive your mission forward."
Perfect. Now let's move on to behavioral questions. These questions often start with, "Tell me about a time when," and are designed to see how you've handled situations in the past.
Yes, and the STAR method is a great way to answer these questions. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Start by describing the situation, then explain the task you needed to complete, describe the action you took, and finish with the result of your actions.
For example, if asked, "Tell me about a time when you had to handle a difficult situation at work," you could say, "In my previous job, we had a major project that was falling behind schedule. Situation. I was responsible for coordinating the team to get us back on track. Task. I organized daily check-ins and delegated tasks based on each team member's strength. Action. As a result, we completed the project on time and received positive feedback from the client. Result."
That's an excellent example, Mike. Another important aspect of interviews is asking questions. Toward the end of the interviewer will usually ask if you have any questions. It's important to have some questions prepared.
Yes, asking questions shows that you're interested and engaged. It's also an opportunity to find out more about the company and the role. Some good questions to ask might be, can you tell me more about the team I'll be working with? Or, what are the next steps in the interview process?
Those are great questions. You could also ask about the company's culture, opportunities for professional development, or the challenges facing the team. For example, what are the biggest challenges your team is currently facing?
Absolutely. And remember, the interview is a two-way street. It's not just about the company deciding if you're a good fit for them. It's also about you deciding if the company is a good fit for you.
That's such an important point, Mike. Now let's talk about what to do after the interview. Following up with a thank you note or email is a great way to show your appreciation and keep yourself top of mind.
Yes, it's a good idea to send a thank you email within 24 hours of the interview. In your email, thank the interviewer for their time, mention something specific you discussed, and reiterate your interest in the role.
For example, you might write, "Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. I enjoyed learning more about your company's innovative projects. I'm very excited about the opportunity to contribute to your team and help achieve your goals."
And that's a great example, Emma. It's also a good idea to follow up if you haven't heard back within the time frame they mentioned. Politely asking for an update shows that you're still interested in the position.
Definitely. You could say, "I'm writing to follow up on our interview from last week. I'm very interested in the position and would appreciate any updates you can provide on the hiring process."
Excellent advice, Emma. Now, let's go over some final tips for nailing your interview. First, practice makes perfect. Consider doing mock interviews with a friend or using online tools to practice your answers.
Yes, practicing can help you feel more confident and reduce anxiety on the day of the interview. It's also a good idea to record yourself so you can see how you come across and make any necessary adjustments.
Another tip is to dress appropriately for the interview. Research the company's dress code and dress slightly more formal than what's expected. This shows that you're serious about the opportunity.
Absolutely. And don't forget to bring several copies of your resume, a notepad, and a pen. Being prepared with these items shows that you're organized and ready to take notes if necessary.
Great points, Emma. And finally, try to relax and be yourself. Interviews can be stressful, but remember that the interviewer wants to get to know you and see if you're a good fit for their team.
That's right, Mike. Confidence, preparation, and a positive attitude can go a long way in making a great impression.
Well, that's all for today's episode. We hope these tips and strategies help you feel more prepared and confident for your next job interview.
Thank you for tuning in to our English podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes.
And good luck with your interviews. See you next time.
Bye.